others sound the same, but I know if he wanted a drink of water, or if he was tired, or if he wanted to play, or if he wanted me to read him a book. I knew all those sounds. I love my boy more than words can express. It was incredibly difficult for me to admit that I needed help, and I was having such a hard time caring for him. I know he needed around-the-clock care, and with my divorce, I knew I needed a lot more help. I can do a lot, but I can't do everything. Deciding on a group home was the toughest decision I've ever made in my entire life. And even though that was the hardest thing to do, and it was worth every tear, and there have been plenty of tears. I had an emptiness in my heart without my boy, but Jacob's home continues to be an amazing fit for him 3.5 years later. He is constantly surrounded by people who love and support him. He is safe and he is happy. He is so well taken care of. He's growing and thriving and making progress, more progress than I thought he was capable of making, and I, in a way, underestimated his capabilities. Jacob has therapies 5 days a week, physical, occupational, speech, behavior, Monday through Friday. The reason he is excelling so much is because he has amazing therapists and teachers who love him and want him to excel as much as I do. And I am very fortunate to have such amazing people who are doing great in what they do. There are a total of 24 people who help care for Jacob. He's using Proloquo on his iPad and now can form 4- and 5-word sentences in order to communicate. He independently feeds himself and requests FaceTime. He still needs assistance with dressing and bathing, and still has tendencies to elope and poses a risk when outside. His behavior has improved so much, and he seems like a different child compared to that little boy in that chaotic house from years before. He has made so much unbelievable progress, and he still has a long way to go. Jacob still spends with me and his father, and we are still his parents and legal guardians. I love and cherish our time together, and in my heart, I know we made the right decision. Jacob is very happy. My heart is grateful and content knowing that he is in such a safe, loving, and capable group home. Jacob's home is a regular house on a regular street in a regular town. It's a 3-bedroom house with 5 children. The group home is privately run. It is not run by the state. The owners are loving and gracious and wonderful people who deeply love Jacob and the other children there. There are freshly cooked meals, and every day I am impressed with the level of care that Jacob and the other children receive. Jacob is doing well with the structure and discipline of the group home. Medications are regulated and on schedule. Bath time, meals, and playtime are all on schedule. Jacob still needs constant assistance in many areas of his daily life skills, but he still needs constant supervision. And now it's not just me doing most everything. There is a whole staff of people caring for him. The home is always neat, clean, and organized. He's the youngest there. His roommate is Taylor. There's Patrick, Aaron, Andre, and Francis, who are now brothers and sister, living together as extended family. They have constant supervision even at night. Here is my 3rd message for you. Making the transition from daily care of living to without him was hellish. I had many conflicting emotions like love, guilt, fear, loss of pride, and envy. I will never forget how I felt when I first placed Jacob into the home. I felt confused, angry, scared, guilty, frustrated. I felt like a failure. At first, Jacob's had huge difficulties with my visits, and suddenly I was part of the problem and not the solution. I was a thin shell of a person waiting to crack, but day after day, week after month, year after year, I can say that things consistently have been improving for me and Jacob. Things are balanced now. An important related challenge has been learning how to not be a full-time caregiver. A few years ago, I was sad because I wasn't holding Jacob in a towel after his bath, or watching him smile when he puts his Darth Vader mask on the Mr. Potato Head, or smelling his breath when he was sleeping. But the truth is, I still do all those things, not every day. This still remains true. Jacob's group home is in close proximity to my ex-husband and I. We spend as much time as we can with Jacob. He has thrived because he has 24-hour support every day, and he still gets to be a part of our lives. I began to appreciate that Jacob was and is thriving and not just doing well. I feel relief, patience, love, and courage. Everything I was afraid of losing, I never lost. Jacob's behavior has improved so much he seems like a different child. His sleeping habits have improved with no change to his evening medications. He is now entering 7th grade, and he graduated 6th grade on honor roll, something I never dreamed possible. Can you imagine how proud I was of my boy, a nonverbal child with intellectual disabilities, on honor roll? Jacob is thriving and growing and becoming a young man before my eyes. He still has his ups and downs, even at the group home, but that's a part of everyday life. As I was presenting this presentation, I reread some of the Facebook comments to my post written by some of you sitting here today. Thoughtful, loving, and supportive. Someone wrote, "Sometimes you have to take a step back in order to move forward." That makes sense now. I always did everything for Jacob, sometimes out of necessity, sometimes out of convenience. I always put his shoes because that's what I did. I put his shoes on. But if given enough opportunities, he will put his shoes on all by himself. By allowing others to help, I am giving Jacob the chance to help himself. And this can still be confusing at times. I do understand that by me taking a step back is allowing Jacob to take a step forward. I miss my son every single day, but over time have come to realize how much his quality of life has improved, and not just mine, both of ours. Other people are qualified to help, and that is okay. A few years ago, at the group home, I saw Jacob have a true emotional reaction to what someone said. It was a breakthrough moment, and I've never seen that happen before. He's processing language and social cues in new ways. His progress is amazing, and I am so grateful to the many people who are all part of his success. I appreciate everyone at the group home, all of his doctors, his therapists, and everyone who helps along the way. It is wonderful to see my child grow. Something my father told me when I was a little girl. He said, "Amy, if you are scared, you will walk scared and breathe scared and look scared. And at the end, you will end up scared. But if you walk brave and act brave and breathe brave, you will be brave." I want to leave you with these final thoughts. It is okay to admit when you need help, and it is okay to ask for help. It is okay to place your child in a group home or to look for residential options. There are good group homes. It may take time to find one, but they do exist. Do your research. It has to be a good fit. Keep your PMS friends close. As a group and as a family, we need each other, and we need to continue to support each other. Each person's story is very different, and there's not one solution for everyone. Expect difficult changes, and be kind to yourself. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Misa Lawrence, and I'm so thrilled to be here to share a solution for you that may help your family thrive. This is a picture of our son, Hiroki. He is 8 years old now, and he is our Phelan-McDermid child. He has a younger brother who just turned 7 2 days ago and forgave me for coming here so that I can share our story with you. Hiroki was diagnosed with Phelan-McDermid syndrome when he was 1. And at that time, I was 3 months pregnant with our younger son. We were diagnosed shortly after my father passed away, and we needed help. It was a very dark time. One of the things that I work to do is to build a community around me, and the Phelan-McDermid, this group was the first community. But I knew that we needed help because my belly was getting bigger and he was getting heavier. So my husband is the one that heard about the au pair solution, and I want to distinguish au pair versus professional au pair as we talk with Claudia and Isabel here in just a moment. But we went with a regular au pair for our first year, and then we learned about the professional au pair option, which means that you have a trained therapist living with you and working with our son for 45 hours a week. So Hiroki, now 8, we are on our 7th professional au pair. We have had a physical therapist, an occupational therapist, speech language pathologists, rehab therapists, all live with us, and it has made such a significant difference to our reality. Here's what he can do now at 8. We can sit in a restaurant for an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. We can go on a play date with typically developing classmates and stay not for the 15 minutes that I expected, but with our au pair's help for an hour and a half. He can type, "I want to eat egg wrap, please," on his GoTalk app. Marin, our previous au pair, and I sat in the bathroom for 3 days, potty training Hiroki, 30 minutes on the toilet, 5 minutes off for 3 straight days. We can have a family game night now with trouble. We can have a dance party. We can fly to Japan internationally on a 14-hour flight and travel. There we are in Japan with our younger son. There we are in Florida. And in that picture there, you'll see Hiroki sitting on the bottom bench. On his right is Marin, and on his left is Claudia, our 3rd au pair. And so it's become this community. It's not just a helper that comes to help and stays with your family for 4 months that you've just finished training. It's someone that you've really come to grow and love over time. I'd like to introduce you next to Claudia and then to Isabel. Claudia is also an experienced host mom. She's going to speak to you about her experience. She also is a regional director or an area director for Dallas families here working with Pro Au Pair, and she's been kind enough to bring her professional au pair, Isabel. So I'm going to have Claudia speak first, and then I'm going to ask Isabel some questions that I think you'd like to ask her so that you can get a better idea of what it looks like for different families.
Thank you, Misa. Can you hear me? So nice to meet everybody. Thank you for having us here. I'm Claudia, and as Misa said, I am a mom of a child with special needs and a child without special needs, but my son's special needs are not PMS. He has TS, tuberous sclerosis, but I find out that the symptoms are actually fairly similar. Autism, epilepsy, ADHD, intellectual, cognitive, all sorts of delays, whole 9 yards. So we're sort of on the same level. I think we have the same level of sleep deprivation as well. We'll take it from there. So I want to tell you a little bit about my journey with Pro Au Pair and au pairs in general and how we got there. And for the longest time, I thought that would be the easiest thing because I was an au pair 30 years ago. Just a plain old regular au pair, nothing special about me. Had graduated from high school in Germany. Born in Germany. Did that, and for me it was always clear we're going to have an au pair if I ever had children. That worked out with kid number 1, who is now 10 and a half. No special needs, so we had regular au pairs. And then along came our son with tuberous sclerosis. So when he was about 4.5, 5 months old, symptoms started to kick in. And once we went through the whole battery of tests and finally found out that there is actually no cure, and this is probably going to be a challenge. Luckily, I work in research and I'm fairly logical, at least most of the time. I went straight to Google, and having had au pairs, I'm like, okay, special needs and au pairs, there's got to be something in this world, and it was. Same night, I had shot an email to the owner of the agency. She called me right back, and the rest is history. So we're in au pair number 8, and the last 6 au pairs have all been professional au pairs, and that has made the difference in the world, at least in our world. Phenomenal for everybody in our household. So not only do we always get a new family member, so we have 8 additional family members at this point, but the support that our professional au pairs bring with the background that they have is just invaluable. So we've mostly had occupational therapists, and now Isabel, fabulous Isabel, staying for the 2nd year, even better. She has a master's in special ed. So what that brings to our family is they know and learn how our children function, what their abilities are, what their differences are, and they know what to work on. They can accompany to the therapies that my son goes to or any other children, and they will learn there what it is that they need to bring back to the home. And they will continue to work in the home on those things with our children. And they teach us. As parents, I still find I'm kind of a sucker at times, and I just like, here, I'll give it to you because I can't fight every battle. They teach us that, you know, at times we're kind of going to have to follow the same protocol. So it's just as valuable in teaching my son with the different abilities as it is valuable to us as parents to learn the techniques to help my son function better in this world. So this is my au pair story, and I want to introduce you to Isabel. And Misa was going to ask some questions.
Okay, so Isabel, everyone wants to know, so you've got a master's in special education. Oh, very short. Could you let us know some of your professional background, please?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm a special ed teacher, so I went to college in Germany, and before I did lots of practice. I was working in a school for special needs children, and so went to college 5 years to learn, I think, not everything, but a lot about therapies, different diagnoses, how to work with special needs kids, and yeah, I think that's, oh, sorry. Should I start again?
That's okay.
Okay. I think that's the difference to an usual au pair, and yeah, I'm happy to be here and to share my skills, to improve my skills. So it's, I do learn new things every single day working with Kai. So yeah, I think that's the difference.
Thank you. What you're going to find if you look au pairs up online is that there are au pairs that are special needs experienced, and then there's a professional au pair. And I just want to make that distinction. If you start doing your own research online, if you see special needs experienced, that means that they have been a PCA. It doesn't mean that they are trained therapists. Okay? Here's another question for you, Isabel. So Claudia was talking about her little one, and I had this concern too. I don't want to write everything about Hiroki. I don't want to say that he's nonverbal, cognitively delayed. He has autism, he has epilepsy, he needs diapers. Oh, by the way, he can choke and aspirate, and we were encouraged to write it all down, and so I did. So I want to ask you, Isabel, what was your reaction when you saw such a complex profile? Did it make you excited or did it make you afraid?
Actually, it made me more excited because I'm a special needs teacher, and when I decided before I start working in Germany, I want to do something else. I want to see the world and go on an adventure. At the same time, I thought, yeah, but I don't want to lose all my professional skills. I want to work with my professional skills. I want to improve them at the same time. So when I was looking at families, my most important point was I want a family with special needs children. So, and I think it's important that you write down everything about your child, because if you don't tell anything and then there's an au pair coming and it's like, yeah, no, I don't want to deal with that, that's not working out. So.
Okay, one more question. Isabel, could you share with us some of the goals that you've set and met?
Yeah, for me the most important thing is actually...
The children are back from the field trip, so if you have any siblings that are under 12, please go pick them up. Sorry.
Yeah, so yeah, for me the most important thing is to improve the life skills, of course. So now At this point, we're actually almost able to dress ourselves. We just need little helps anymore, and yeah, it makes me happy to see all those little steps we take every day. And Kai is making his breakfast almost by herself every morning, and so I think all those life skills. So we're working on potty training, and so my goal is in the end of my second year that he can do a lot more stuff by himself than he can now.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Isabel. I just want to end with this thought. For our family, stability and harmony, that is what we want. And the professional au pairs have provided that for us. It's another set of eyes, ears, and feet to keep our little ones safe. You've got a mind that is observing objectively and setting goals for your child and for your family. Finally, you've got a heart that is embracing your child and loving your family and helping you propel and thrive into the next phase of your journey as a family. Tomorrow morning, they're going to be myself and Angie Foster, who is in another session right now. She and I will be hosting a breakfast roundtable at 7:30 in the atrium. If you'd like to know more, there's so much to know about this. We don't have enough time to cover it, but I welcome you to come join us, or you can contact me directly, Misa Lawrence, through Messenger or Facebook. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope that this helps your child to thrive.
I'm back. Even before becoming a parent of a special needs child, I knew that services and care provided for people with disabilities was wanting. Now I know just how much and how hard parents fight to provide for the extra care that their loved ones require. Individuals with disabilities are often overlooked or neglected. Residential and day program options tend to be limited. Parents of special needs individuals are concerned for their children's futures. Some may say terrified. The reality of life with a PMS individual is that he or she needs a significant amount of assistance with everyday activities. Nearly all will need some sort of assisted living throughout their lives. Many PMS parents and caregivers wish to live just one day longer than their PMS child. They fear that no one will care for their child, love their child, like we do. And this includes me, and it needs to change. This is Cyrus. Before Cyrus's diagnosis, our plan had been to move our family to New Zealand and start a farm. But after his life-altering diagnosis, we realized that that was not going to happen. He was always going to need a significant level of assistance. We knew that we could not leave our support system. The thought of him needing to someday live in a group home was absolutely terrifying for us. It was during this time that the idea was conceived to still start that farm, not in New Zealand, but in Iowa, where we live. It would be a place that would provide a home and community for Cyrus and others with disabilities, a place that would be filled with peace and joy. This dream was something that we thought we'd get around to eventually, someday when we had more time. Maybe as Cyrus was nearing adulthood, so that it would be in place for when he would need those services. However, 2016 was a very rough year for us. Due to health issues, my husband's work schedule, and Cyrus's difficult behaviors, we felt like we could no longer care for him. I was so exhausted that I constantly felt like I was going to fall over. It was soul-shattering to come to the realization that as a parent, you're not able to care for your child. So we started looking into residential placement options for him and found nothing available locally. Now, while we live in Iowa, we aren't secluded. Our metro area has over 400,000 people, but there are only 2 homes that serve children. And these are specifically for children with severe behaviors and not a place where we wanted to put our child. This agency that runs those homes receives 5 to 6 calls per month asking for a bed. Thankfully, with increased assistance from friends and family, we were able to make it through that summer, and my husband was eventually able to get a different job that was easier for us as a family. I'm glad that we were able to avoid placing our then 6-year-old child in a group home. Until that summer, I never thought that we would ever consider placing Cyrus in a group home as a child. Currently, we receive in-home assistance through Iowa Medicaid and Iowa Medicaid Intellectual Disabilities Waiver. Some of the services we receive are EPSDT, which stands for Early and Periodic Screening, Diagnostic, and Treatment, otherwise known as the Care for Kids program. This provides services for persons under the age of 21. It includes private duty nursing and personal care services, which meet the definition of medical necessity as provided by Medicaid service for EPSDT. I am supposed to announce that the next bus for the sibling field trip with 13 and older will arrive around 2:35, and they will meet near the hotel entrance. That's by the conference store, so that's down that direction. Okay, where was I? Okay, thank you. We use EPSDT during long school breaks, like spring break, summer break. We were denied last summer and for the school breaks this past school year due to the increasingly stringent eligibility criteria. Thankfully, though, this summer, Cyrus qualified for 4 hours per day, 5 days a week. The Home Health Aid Service provides unskilled medical services and direct personal care. IMMT provides monitoring and treatment of a medical nature requiring specially trained caregivers beyond what is normally available in a typical daycare setting. Respite care services are provided to the member that gives temporary relief to the usual caregiver and provides all the necessary care that the usual caregiver would provide during that time period. Supported community living is designed to assist the member with daily living needs, such as personal home and community skills. Staff works with the member to achieve goals set forth in the member's care plan. Consumer Choices Options provides the member with a flexible monthly individual budget that is based on the member's service needs. With that budget, they can purchase goods and services and do the hiring of employees. It is a self-direction program. Because of the rough year we had in 2016 and the need within the community, I realized that we needed to start working on our dream now. Many families are struggling, they're drowning, and they need help now. Our own family may even need to utilize those services sooner than we originally anticipated. So in 2017, with the help of other special needs parents in our area, thankfully one of them is another PMS mom, I founded Sunrise Village. Thank you. People tend to feel happier when they regularly have meaningful interactions with their neighbors and friends. Sharing life together, whether to celebrate or to support, makes such a huge difference. With this in mind, Sunrise Village, which is a nonprofit organization, will be developing an intentional community for individuals with and without disabilities. We will be an Iowa Medicaid home and community-based services provider, serving individuals with Iowa Medicaid waivers as well as habilitation services. Our mission is to create nurturing and empowering opportunities for individuals with disabilities. We believe that all people are valuable and deserve opportunities to be their best selves. We will create an environment that is nurturing and empowering. Everyone will be treated with dignity and be given the opportunity to have a voice. At Sunrise Village, we want to provide more than just housing and activities. We want to provide a home, a family, a place where our loved ones will be respected and empowered. We want to give parents and caregivers peace and hope for the future. All homes will be set up with the safety of residents in mind. Accommodations and barriers will be put into place to help residents navigate their home and be safe from hazards. The entire property will be wheelchair accessible, not just for the residents and the day program participants, but for visitors as well. Sunrise Village will strive to create a peaceful environment in which all residents are able to have a rich quality of life, one with which they are able to enjoy time outdoors, working with the earth, animals, and each other to produce the very food that they eat. We will care for physical, mental, and spiritual needs and encourage family involvement as possible. We will make sure that each resident receives medical care and the therapy that they need. All residents will be free to choose whether or not to attend any religious activities. A variety of vocational and recreational activities will be available. Residents and the community will have many opportunities to learn about sustainable farming, healthy living, and living more harmoniously with the earth, others, and themselves. In addition to activities on the farm, residents will have access to the larger community. Sunrise Village will strive to be as eco-friendly and conservation-minded as possible. We aim to have 5 to 10 homes, accommodating up to 5 individuals each, and available for all ages. Residents will have the option of private or shared bedrooms. Each home will be staffed according to the needs of the particular residents in those homes. In order to ensure that residents receive the care and the quality of life that they deserve, all residents will undergo a thorough application process, and the placement process will be highly individualized. Rehabilitation and vocational activities at Sunrise Village will vary depending upon the season. Year-round, though, there will be art therapy, animal husbandry, and gardening activities available. We will have community gatherings in the homes and in the community building on site at regular intervals. These could be dinners, parties, dances, movie or game nights, and fundraisers. We will also have exercise equipment available to use. We will have a stall at our local farmers market where we will sell plants, produce, canned goods, works of art. Every effort will be made to enable residents and day program participants who desire to work the opportunity to do so. With close proximity to the larger community, the residents will be able to take regular outings in order to enjoy everything that the area has to offer. For our property, we hope to have 10 to 20 acres in Scott County, Iowa. To ensure easy access to emergency services, we want to be within 15 minutes of a hospital. This close proximity to a hospital also means that Sunrise Village will be a part of the community and not separate from it. Residents will have easy access to the community, and visitors, volunteers, and staff will be able to find us easily. This represents 15 acres and is to give an idea of a possible layout. We hope to have 5 to 10 3-bedroom homes for the residents, an office, outbuildings for farm equipment and property maintenance, tools and supplies, a hoop house or a greenhouse, a water reclamation system, a barn for horses and other farm animals, a chicken coop, a community building with a kitchen, an arts building for a variety of art projects. A guest house would also be available for a family of the residents or interns. We would like to have a wheelchair-accessible playground and a shelter, an orchard, and a biking walking path throughout the entire property. 2017 through 2018 is our formation period. This includes incorporating as a nonprofit, filing for 501c3 tax exemption status, and registering in certain states to receive charitable funds. All of these has been finished. It's been done. Thank you. 2018 through 2020 is where we will initiate fundraising and start applying for grants. We had our very first fundraiser just last month in June, and we raised over $1,100. It was very exciting to see the community start to come together for our project. In 2021, after sufficient funds have been raised, we will acquire land and develop it in phases as we are able. Once we have necessary facilities, we will apply to become a home and community-based services provider. We will start offering SCL, which is supported community living, and respite services. In 2022, we will expand our programming. We will be building our homes for the residents, expanding service hours for respite and SEL, and adding other HCBS services such as day habilitation, adult daycare, and vocational services. We will need to become accredited through CARF, which is an independent agency that certifies the quality of certain programs. In 2023, we aim to have all programs up and running and looking to sustaining and improving where needed. There are similar intentional communities throughout the U.S. and the world. Not all are agricultural based. If an intentional community type program is something that you're interested in, check around. See if there's something near you that is either existing or if there is a project in the works. Please visit our website, which is up here, to keep up to date, and you can also keep in touch on Facebook. As a follow-up to this session, we'll have an informal meetup tomorrow morning in Heritage Room 8. Many of the panelists from this session and from the adult session that's coming up next will be there to talk, answer questions. Again, that's in Heritage Room 8 tomorrow from 7:30 to 8:30. I want to leave you with this. Be kind to yourself. You are stronger than you think. It takes strength to ask for help. If it takes a village to raise a neurotypical child, our PMS children need a city. Periodically, other PMS parents will comment that we need to have a PMS island. We're all in this together, and we are here to support each other. My hope for each of you during this conference is that you'll be able to cry, laugh, and leave knowing that you are not alone.